He's not playing with a full deck of cards. Get over it. You're a creep. He's a creep. Imagine walking out every day on the streets and you hear this all the time. Imagine being in bed, not wanting to get up because you're ashamed of everything and you just think about everything. So you physically cannot get out of the bed. These can be an example of stigma, and stigma defined by www.drugabuse.com is a set of negative beliefs that a group or society holds towards a topic or a group of people. Less than 3 weeks ago, I did an informative speech on how the media's portrayal of mental health does to the common viewer, aka us as humans. And stigma falls into this as well. The things of you're a creep, he's a creep, get over it, all that falls into it. So basically I've just come here to speak about one thing, and just basically that it's just time to eliminate the negative connotation that mental health has by means of diminishing stigma. After you leave, I can only hope that I've gotten your attention and that I've kind of sparked some kind of change within you. I'm not here to persuade anybody, or actually I am but it's more about just being a good person and having that moral value for yourself. And so this just plays a crucial role for the human race in general. So it all begins with stigma, and all stigma is negative. Lauren Villa from www.drugabuse.com says that nearly everybody has been stigmatized at some point in their life, or stigmatized somebody at somebody. She also explains like the negative impacts that it has on the people suffering, such as their willingness to go seek treatment, their harm reduction and self-esteem. Just thinking about the willingness to seek treatment for them is that with all these people judging them and all these people that are just saying negative things about them and judging them, it can be hard to go to a doctor because they think that people that are suffering with mental illnesses think that the doctor is just going to do the same thing, so it's just hard to get out of bed to do that. And just as, if not more important, is the social and mental impact that it has on them. And so, according to mentalhealthamerica.net, out of the 46 million people that are suffering with a mental illness, 9.6 of them think about suicide, have suicide ideation. And so there's just different ways just to fight back, and Lauren Villa from earlier suggests different techniques such as compassionate support, listening while withholding judgment, avoiding using labels such as psycho or insane for a person, and then basically just doing your research. And that's pretty much what I really want to touch on is doing research is very important. The others are all common sense, such as like compassionate support, listening to people. That's all things that we learn whenever we're younger by our parents. So research is just something that I really wanted to touch on, because as humans we don't really research. We see an article online and think that we either accept it, we see it and think it's just fact and don't actually look it up, or we dismiss it, and dismissal being that article's a bunch of nonsense and we never go back to it. I spoke on that 3 weeks ago in my presentation, and so I just really want to get that across. Also, being a good person isn't difficult either. I know at times in college it can be difficult, especially with how stressed we all are and with just how much sleep we get and everything. It can be really hard to be kind and respectful to people. But if the ethical benefits aren't enough, really, there are some other benefits and economical benefits of reducing stigma. ScienceDaily.com says that finds treatments and economic benefits from a new study from R&D Corporation. They're a stigma reducing campaign. They seek out to help people find treatments for their specific illness, going to a therapist, anything. And Scott Ashwood, the actual leader of the campaign, he suggested that there was 12,000 people with a mental illness that through his campaign, through exposure from his campaign, went to go find treatments. And so out of those 3,000 people, 3,000 they would be employed. And so with the employment comes from the treatment. With the employment, they'll perform better in their workplace. And the most interesting part about it is if 3,547 people, if they went to go seek treatment, the state government would break even on their investment to this campaign. So out of the 3,000, or out of the 1,200,000 people, or 1,200,000 people, there only 3,000 of them have to actually go seek treatment for them to break even. And so the study concludes that there's good evidence that it could bring economical benefits. The extent of how much they bring and everything all depends on how many people go out and seek treatment. But it's just, those are just more benefits, specifically in California though. And then my final point is just, what does it look like after stigma is significantly reduced? And that looks like a world without the judgment of others, a world where everybody's equal and everybody understands each other better. Christopher Rivas from lifestyledesign.com suggests that this is an unrealistic concept, that you can't just wake up one morning, there'll be no jail, no laws, no social norms, no anything like that. But he does follow that up with allow things to happen just the way they are. And how that looks is if you're running your day-to-day errands and you run into somebody cranky and they're just having a bad day and you can really tell that, don't judge them, just allow them to feel the way they do. It can be really difficult to know what's going through someone's life, so if you just put yourself in their shoes, like they could be having bickering arguments with their wife and go to work, get laid off, on their way to their car after they just got laid off, their tire's flat. And so that could put someone in a pretty upsetting mood, enough to where it shows off towards others. And so just keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about that. So basically I've just said what stigma was and what stigma is, how to eliminate, or now we know reduce, because it can never be fully eliminated. And the benefits, now knowing that, or why reducing stigma is so crucial, let me just act as a beacon of motivation for y'all. Ultimately, we all have morals, and so just keep in mind that judging somebody negatively can really have an impact on their lives forever.